Welcome to chapter 112 of Memoirs of a White Guy, and ladies and gentlemen, oh shit, hang on, wrong setting. Let's start again. Ladies and gentlemen, Luke's back, but also that would have hurt everyone wearing headphones, but you know what? At least now you're ready. At least now you're like, oh shit, Luke's back, and he ain't fucking round. You bet I'm not. We out here, we doing it. Why do people say we out here? It's like Americans do it. So it's like white Americans do it. It's like, hey, we out here, we doing it. What, are you bragging about being outside? Like, it's only Americans do that shit. Yo, we out here and we getting some vitamin D. The sun's shining. Rain, hail, shine, bitch. We out here. No one ever brags about being in here, do they? Do they? Oh no, people go, but there is Americans who say, we up in here, but you only get to brag if you're inside, if you're raised. If you're elevated by something, like if you're on a second story, or like you're on a rooftop bar, you can be like, yo, we up in here. You can be indoors, but as long as you're higher than the ground level or sea level maybe. But no one's ever like, yo, we in here, we killing it, we doing it. No. It's always like, we out here in LA or whatever the fuck. Like, anyway, you know what? I'm going to be the only person to ever brag about it because I don't do my podcast outside. So, hey guys, we in here, we doing it. I got the new background. I'm going to stop talking like American because I'm not very good at the accent. I've got the new canvas, the Memoirs of a White Guy canvas. If you're listening to the audio, hey, let me take you on an audio journey. Let me paint the scene. If you're watching it, you're going like, hurry up, Luke. I can see what's in the background. The canvas, Memoirs of a White Guy, just in case you forget which podcast you're watching, it's behind you the whole time. You know, if you're like, oh shit, is this Joe Rogan? Oh no, he's not bald, and it says Memoirs of a White Guy. Phew. And then we've got the tambourine on the stand. I have a tambourine stand now. Check out that. Yeah, comes on its own stand. If you don't have a stand for your tambourine, you ain't shit. And if your podcast doesn't have a stand for its tambourine, your podcast ain't shit. People always message me like tips to like for their podcast. Like, man, I'm thinking about starting a podcast. You got any advice? Yep. Get a tambourine, chuck it on a stand. Watch your podcast go up the charts. Watch the views come in. Watch the plays. Watch the listens. It's got nothing to do with the content. People just come for tambourine stands. I'm sure that's why most of you are here, and that's why most of you are staying around. You're probably like, man, I don't give a fuck what Luke's talking about. Look at the stand on that boy. And then I've got the My Name Jeff bear that my girlfriend got me for Valentine's Day. That's kind of just there because I don't have another place to put it. But, you know, it says My Name Jeff on it, so I guess it's garbage enough to put in the podcast. I also got the Blink-182 framed, signed thing by Mark, Tom, and Travis. Which, look, I think would be a real signature from the band. But, you know, there's no way of proving it. So it could be just some dude in a shop that like faked their signatures. But that's in case if you forget I'm white, then you're like, oh, this is the whitest podcast in Australia. Look at the Blink-182 thing. And then obviously I've got the megaphone in case I have to make announcements. Because if you're new to the podcast, then hey, welcome, by the way. It's great to have you on board. It's great to have you tuning in for the first time. It only took you 2 years to be like, oh, I should check this shit out. And now you're probably like, I don't know how I feel about it. But we make announcements on the megaphone. So whenever I have an announcement, for example, I never went through puberty. And you'd say that. So it's good that that's out there now. That's something I've been wanting to announce for a while. And then obviously behind me, you might see there's one more thing. I've got the tambourine photo that I got with Santa Claus at the mall. I went and got a tambourine photo. I have a bit about that in my show, so if you come to the tambourine tour, you hear all about how Santa thought I was special. And yeah, man, the tour's been going fun. Okay, before I talk about that, I got so much to catch you guys up on. I need to tell you guys why the podcast was late. Why is it taking so long? Obviously, I've been setting up the new background. I've completely redone my room. If I twist the camera here, hang on. Can I twist the camera? I'll just quickly move the tripod. I got my bed over there for the people watching. I got a new bed. I've got like a new whole. I pretty much got rid of everything in my bedroom. Have you ever done that? Just cleaned out all your shit, and then I spent like $4,000 redoing it. It's worth it now because I do like my bedroom. My bedroom went from having like 8 pieces of furniture, junk that I've never seen before. Like I've never seen. Some of the things I pulled out from under my bed, I was like, I don't recall ever owning that. That's how long it had been since I last cleaned out from my bedroom. And now I literally have 3 pieces of furniture. This dresser behind me, my bed, and like tiny drawers over there. That's it. I'm a minimalist. I feel like I've just watched a Netflix documentary and they're like, if this furniture makes you feel enjoy, then keep it. But if it doesn't, throw it away. Have you guys heard of that shit? There was this like Netflix thing that went like nuts where this lady, I didn't watch it obviously, but that doesn't make me not talk about it. Oh look, but you sound uninformed and you don't know what you're talking about. That's the podcast. If you don't like it, go to another podcast. But if you're also like me and are confident in talking about things you know very little about, boy, you're gonna love this podcast. So, this Netflix documentary that one person told me about at a party at 1 a.m. when I was drunk. It was like this lady, she's like tells you how to be organized, and it's the dumbest thing ever. She's like, put all your clothes on your bed. She's like, if you want to get rid of stuff, put all your clothes on your bed. Pick up the clothes, pick up a top, hold it out, and if it brings joy to you, if it sparks joy, keep it. If you don't feel joy, throw it away. What about if you're just depressed and then you'd end up naked on the street? You're like, oh, I have an actual mental health problem. Nothing sparks joy, and now I'm completely nude. I've thrown out all my clothes because this dumb bitch on Netflix was like, oh, does it spark joy? Not everything needs to spark joy to own it. Like, not everything. I don't know, there's something around here that probably doesn't spark joy. I don't know. Look, I got these jeans on the floor. Right? These jeans. I was wearing these pants at my show on the weekend. I hold it up. I look at it. I'm honestly looking at these jeans right now. And they just need a wash. That's all I'm thinking. I'm not going, oh, yes. These chinos that I probably bought from JJ's or Cotton On. I love these. I must keep them forever. Fuck no. I'm just like, yeah, they cover my dick. That's what I do. Clothes are practical. There's some clothes that spark joy. Like my Radio Mike bought me a My Name Jeff t-shirt. I see that and I go, and that sparks a little bit of joy in me. Every time I see it, I go, ah, yes, that is garbage. I am trash. Lol. And then I continue my day. That sparks joy, you know? But a pair of old jeans, you know, that doesn't get me going. If you're getting excited over jeans, then maybe that's your problem. Maybe this lady on Netflix, well, good on her, man. She's probably become a millionaire now by making some dumbass thing where, like, I should do that, man. If comedy, like, ever fails, I should just make up some bullshit thing. I could be like, I'm a storage unit specialist, and I make some stupid Netflix documentary where I'm like, now, get all your shelves. Now, if none of these give you a permanent hard-on, get rid of it, alright? And look at now, all this free space, and all these guys are just like, oh man, now I don't have any shelves. But there's this one creep who's like, everything gives me a hard-on, and his house is full of shit. Anyway, so I've cleaned out my room. That's what I was talking about. And I got this new dresser behind me. And this dresser is why the podcast took so long to come out. I ordered this dresser weeks ago. I've been scouting it out online. I went to a bunch of furniture stores, right? Eventually I found one that would A, match my bed, and B, look nice as the background of my podcast. Because even though, look, this background's nothing fancy, but it's a little bit cute, I think. Because I wanted to make my podcast look different to my other videos. Because otherwise people would just be confused. They'd just be like, I feel like people couldn't tell the difference between my podcast last year and my videos. Because they were like, the podcast just seemed like a shitty version of my videos, which is correct. But now that it has this fancy new background, you'll be like, wow, but look at the canvas and the bear and the tambourine. This is great content. So yeah, I wanted to make it look different, and I really wanted to step up the production, which I will be talking about later. I've started a Patreon, which I'll get to in a sec, and hopefully some of you guys will be on board to support me in my quest to become the world's biggest shit meme enthusiast and / comedian. I do really want to be a comedian, but I bloody love a shit meme. So yeah, I got this dresser behind me, and $700 this cost for a piece of wood. You'd think that if you paid $700 for a bit of timber that went in and out, you know, a couple of times, that's all drawers are, a little bit of timber that goes in and out, you'd think they'd come on time. You'd be like, if you paid $700, not a small amount of money, you know, I didn't pay $7 for it, then you'd be like, oh, take your time. Oh, wait, I only paid $7 for this piece of timber that goes in and out. I paid $700. I went, I've paid you a lot of dollary dues. I'm expecting this shit to come on time. And I'm the type of person, if you tell me it'll be there within 10 business days and it gets to 11 business days and I'm sitting there, right? I'm not even wearing a watch right now, but I'm staring at my wrist going, fuck, I spent all my money on this fucking dresser, which is why I can't afford a watch. I'll be staring there staring at my wrist going, tick-tock, motherfuckers. You said 10 business days and it's currently been 11. Where's my dresser? So, this lady from Fantastic Furniture. I want to name and shame. I'm not afraid to do it. I'm naming and shaming because their furniture ain't so fantastic. Actually, their furniture's pretty good, but their customer service, that's the sound of their customer service plummeting into hopefully a deep canyon, right, where no one can ever experience it again. I can't really whistle properly. That does ruin that joke. Anyway, so Fantastic Furniture, more like not fantastic furniture, which I'll get to later. If you're in the podcast group, you'd already be like, wow, Luke, hit him again with that slam. So this lady from Fantastic Furniture was like, yep, great, thank you for, we've taken your $700 now, and it will be 1 week probably, but maximum 2 weeks, and then we'll deliver this furniture to you. Well, I was like, great, can't wait. But I was like, probably 1 week. I'm going to take her word for it, because this customer service lady, she seemed trustworthy. And I was like, wait, she works for Fantastic Furniture. She probably has fantastic customer service. And she probably wouldn't Pinocchio the shit out of me and lie to my goddamn fucking face. I came back in, no joke, I called. I didn't come back in, but I called, right? I called a week later, and I was like, hey, because I wanted to start my podcast. And I was like, you know, people kept messaging me going, where's the podcast? And I was like, fucking blame this company. Don't point fingers at me. Point them at your nearest Fantastic Furniture Corporation. I called them. I was like, hey, just wanting to know if there was an update. I ordered this dresser like a week ago. She said it might be a week. And then they were so angry. They were like, that I called. They were like, yeah, we'll text you when it comes in. Why are you calling? And I went, oh, okay, that's okay. Bye. And then afterwards I was like, yeah, fucking whatever. And I said all the things that I wish I had of instead of just caving like a coward on the phone, right? Which is what you do. And then I called them like again. I called them every day for a week because I was like, fuck them. Right, so I kept calling them back, and I was like, hey, Fantastic Furniture, why are you so fantastic? I didn't say that. I was too much of a bitch. I was like, hey, my name's Luke. I ordered this thing, and they just kept going, oh, did you call yesterday? And I was like, yeah. And they were like, why? We'll text you when it comes in. I was like, yeah, but you said, and then one time the person just hung up on me, so I was like, fuck him. I called him back. I was like, hey, I think the phone cut out. And he's like, no, I hung up. And I was like, okay, cool, bye. And then I hung up on him because I was like, fuck, game, set, match. Anyway, gets to like 1 week and 6 days. Still no confirmation text, still no call, still no fantastic fucking furniture in my bedroom. So I cracked the shits. I put out a threat in the podcast group. Some people, if you want to join the podcast group, join it. Also, if you want to join the Instagram, I made a new Instagram account for the podcast. Follow Memoirs of a White Guy on Instagram. I think we're on like 330 followers at the moment. Let's get that bad boy up to 600 by the end of the week. Fuck it, let's go to 1,000. Shoot for the stars, man. Don't go for 600. Let's go for 1,000 followers by the end of the week. Get your pet dog. If you have a dog Instagram account, bloody get them to follow it. So, I guess at the end of the week, I made a video on the podcast group. I was seething at this point. Was furious. I wanted the podcast to come back just as much as you guys. And I was like, yo, Fantastic Furniture, where is my fantastic furniture? You have exactly 22 hours to deliver that shit, right? Yes, I felt like Liam Neeson in Taken. I was throwing out ultimatums, right? I was like, I will find you, I will kill you. No, I wouldn't. I will find you, and I will ask politely, where is my fantastic fucking furniture, right? I'm not afraid to ask politely. You bet. You're probably thinking, whoa, Luke, talking tough. Hey, guys, I will speak politely to you, and let that be a warning. So I put out a threat. I'm a little bit ashamed of it, but I thought, hey, that's how you get shit done. In the movies, that's how people get things done. If you don't threaten your enemies, how are you going to get what you want? Because politely calling them every day was not effective. So I went, hey, Fantastic Furniture, you have 22 hours to deliver my fantastic fucking furniture. Otherwise, I will go online and leave a Google review that says, Fantastic Furniture, more like not fantastic furniture, and stocks will plummet. Bankruptcy. People will read that shit and be like, wow, they're not so fantastic. And look, I may be responsible for the downfall of one of the biggest Australian furniture companies of all time. And people might be like, but Luke, so many innocent people will lose their jobs because of your heinous actions. Those people need to get better at their jobs. Not my fault. I mean, a little bit my fault, but look, I did leave the review. You can go check it out. It's in the podcast group. I left the review, and look, am I proud of it? Absolutely. Would I do it again? You bet. And did it make my furniture come quickly? You fucking betcha. 2 days later, I get a text. They've probably seen my review going, man, this guy's going to bring us down from the outside. We should definitely deliver his $700 timber that he ordered. Right? And then I got it. I got that shit then 2 days later. So if you want to get things done, and I know there's a lot of younger people listening to this podcast, so this is my advice. If you want to get ahead in life, threaten your enemies. Don't politely call every day. Waste of time. I should have called with an ultimatum the first time, going like, you want to see your family and friends again? Yeah? Well, maybe, well, great. Have fun with that. But if you want me to leave a review online, into the canyon, you fucking better, whatever. You know what I mean? You got to threaten your enemies. Channel your inner Liam Neeson. I can't speak. I just caught my hair in the thing. I'm doing a thing, guys, with my hair at the moment. Yeah, if you're watching it, you're probably thinking, Luke, there's nothing different about your hair. Brr. Incorrect. It's slightly longer than usual. Slightly. You know what I realized? My brother and my dad have gotten 2 haircuts since I last got one. 2. Which means I'm 2 haircuts behind schedule, which is wild for me. And it's kind of stopped growing. Like, I've just been growing it out. And it's long, I guess, but it's not that long. And I'm just kind of doing it for something to do. I'm just running like a science experiment on myself. Because like some people like reading. That's the problem. I don't have many hobbies outside of like comedy. I like running, but for the last month I've had glandular fever and I haven't been able to run. So I don't really have many hobbies, right? So yeah. This is what I'm doing. I'm just sitting there growing. Some people like reading, some people like playing basketball. I'm going to grow my hair out. Maybe till the end of the tour, maybe for the rest of my life. I don't know how long I'll get. I kind of want to look like a member of the June Rats. And by the way, I know it won't look good. And I know that I'll get comments all the time like, your hair shit. I know that. I'm just kind of doing it for something to do. And by the way, I might cut it tomorrow. Like, honestly, I'm waiting till the day when I wake up and I go, this is getting out of hand. And that's kind of my experiment. I think I'll last a few months because I want to see if it grows out like an afro. I think I might look like, 2003 Guy Sebastian, or I'll look like Jared Leto, just with long flowing hair. I definitely think I kind of think it'll just grow up and out like crazy. But anyway, hope you guys are willing to keep watching my content when you're watching such a, I reckon I'll just, look, I don't really know what it's going to look like, to be honest, but yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm just, your life's fucking boring when you're like, to spice things up, I'm going to grow my hair. That's such a waste of, it's not a waste of time, but anyway. That's what I'm doing. I'm growing my hair. I love doing science experiments on myself. I'm the type of guy where if I go over to your house, like if you're a friend of mine or whatever, if I go to your house and I need to take a shit, which I'll do because I'm disrespectful, if I see like a scale next to your toilet or a scale in your bathroom, I will 100%, 10 out of 10 times, weigh myself and before I shit, and then shit, and then weigh myself afterwards and see how much poo I just dropped. For sure. Why? Because it's science. And I'm all about learning. Right? The people would have laughed at, people would have mocked the first person who was trying to come up with electricity, and it would have been like, but it's science. And they would have been like, you're an idiot, just use a candle. What are you doing? We have wax, we have light. We've solved this. And it would be like, no guys, there's a better way. And look, it's not exactly the same, but all I'm trying to say is I'm a scientist. And if you're thinking, Luke, I don't like the poo chat, then hey, maybe you shouldn't be listening to a podcast on the science section. I may put it under the science section now. But if you're new, by the way, thanks for coming on board. I hope you're enjoying it so far. This podcast is essentially just me. I'm Luke. I'm a white guy. And I'm just talking about all the struggles that I never have as a straight white male. I'll be talking about things that happen in the news, things that things that are happening in my life. It's pretty much, that's why it's called the Memoirs of a White Guy. It's the story that nobody asked for, but I'm giving it anyway. Bendigo was fun, man. Bendigo, I did some shows on the weekend, Geelong, Bendigo, super fun. Guy in the front row was amazing. Actually, the story starts before this. I get on stage, there's 2 spare seats at the front because no one ever wants to sit at the front because you guys are bitches. And people think, there's a stereotype that people think, oh, if I go to the front of a stand-up comedy show, the comedian is going to shit on me. Not at a Luke Kidgell show. If you sit at the back like the fucking coward that you are, I will point you out. Anyone. Because if people go straight to the back and they go, I'll sit in the dark corner. If you sit in the dark corner, that's who I'm going to talk to straight away. I'll be like, look at this fucking beta in the back row. Anyway, so I was like, anyone want to come to the front? Which is like a Hail Mary as a comedian. Because no one ever goes, yep, I'll sit at the front. So I asked the question, I was like, hey, does anyone want to come sit at the front? Thinking I might be able to bully someone to come sit there. Straight away, this hand shoots up in the 5th or 6th row going, yep, I want to sit at the front. And I was like, holy shit. And this dude just ran down the aisle and then plonked himself in the seat really enthusiastically and then just sat there looking at me like this, just like, and I was like, oh man, sorry, I'm sick. I was like to him, if you want to sit at the front so bad, if you were so enthusiastic, why didn't you just sit at the front to begin with, for starters? And I was like, what's your name, man? It was like, Finn. And I was like, hey, Finn. I'm like, thanks for coming to the show. I was like, thanks for coming by yourself, because he didn't have a friend with him. And I was like, oh, how come you by yourself? And he goes, oh, yeah, my friend couldn't come, man. And I was like, oh, how come? And he goes, oh, because he slept in. And I just was so confused. And I was like, what do you mean? It's 8 p.m. He's like, yeah, it was a big sleep in. That's the most Bendigo shit I've ever heard. And I was thinking, oh, his friend must be working night shift. Oh my god, I'm dying. Sorry. I have glandular fever. Did I say that? I think I already said that already. I talk about it in my show, so I won't talk about it in the podcast. But anyway, my Perth shows almost got cancelled. It sucked. It was the worst. Anyway, so I felt like I was deep throating a dick for a week. That's what glandular fever is. If you've never had it, it's like anyone who's ever had glandular fever will tip their hat to any girl who deep throats a cock, because I felt like I had a dangly foreskin in my throat for about a week. I didn't sleep for 72 hours. There was one point my throat was so bad, I felt like I had golf balls in there. I just couldn't sleep for 72 hours, and eventually after 72 hours my body just shut down and I just like passed out of exhaustion and fatigue. And I had to call my management. This was a day before I went to Perth, and the Perth shows almost didn't go to head because I hadn't slept for 3 days beforehand. Like over the Australia Day weekend I didn't sleep at all, and then it was horrible. And I called my management. I was like, I can't get out of bed. I don't think I'll be able to go to the airport because I can't walk because I'm like so fatigued. I haven't slept in 72 hours. Like I felt like how like an addict must feel like at the end of a bender. Just like, fuck, I need a Barocca and some vitamin C. You know what I mean? I was just like wrecked. And anyway, then I ended up going to Perth. I managed to get to sleep finally, and thank you guys so much to everyone at Perth who came out, and I had to explain on stage that I had glandular fever. And look, I don't think it affected the show too much. There were some times like where I just have a blatant coughing fit, but the crowd just felt so bad for me that they were like cheering. They were like, yeah. But I'm all good now, which is great. So yeah, anyway, so I'm at Bendigo. This guy's like, yep, my friend sleeps. And I was just like to him, does your friend work night shift? And he goes, nah, man. Fuck. I'm recording the first podcast back and I'm dying. You know what? I'm going to stop the podcast for a second and then start it again, and hopefully I won't be dying, okay? Oh, I'm back. Sorry. Jesus Christ. My throat. It still feels like I'm gargling dick. This is like I got that Listerine, but instead of Listerine I was just like and like took 12 inches. That's how my throat feels. Oh, respect to like any porn star out there now that just like takes it for a living, because hey, they don't get paid enough. Alright, what was I talking about? Oh, Bendigo. Anyway, yeah, this guy's friend slept in. It was crazy. I just can't believe, how can you sleep until 8 p.m? Like, imagine like setting your alarm going like 7 p.m. like, oh, time for Luke's show. Should probably get up. Rise and shine, everyone. Nah, man. Most people are wrapping it up by then. And I was like to the guy in the front row, I was like, oh, what time did you get up? And he's like, oh, about 12. I was like, dude, yeah, you're a piece of shit. Although I got up at like 11 today, so you know, I can't be like, I'm pretty much like the biggest piece of shit. That's because I went to bed at like 2 a.m. because I was up all night finishing my Patreon, which I need to talk about. Let's talk about that. I'm super stoked. I've been meaning... People have been asking me for like a year, which is crazy. People always ask me at shows like, bro, when are you starting your Patreon? Like, I want to give you more money. And I'm like, I'll do it when I think I can provide good enough content and value for money. And now is finally the time where I really think I can do that. I've got this new setup. I've spent thousands of dollars on it. I want to get a brand new microphone, which is one of the first goals of the Patreon. I want one of those, like, I want a Joe Rogan mic. Because if your podcast ain't got a Joe Rogan mic, is your podcast even a podcast? I want to legit this place up with the Rogan mic, and I want to be talking into a microphone which will drastically improve the audio for people who listen to it, and for the people who watch it, because it'll be the same audio. So, yeah, that's one of the first goals. I also want to hire well, I already have a camera dude who's working with me, but I want to be able to hire him once a week. I can currently only afford to hire him, like, he's filmed, like, for example, the videos that my camera guy that I've paid to film are all the videos pretty much on my channel that have done well recently. The Whitest boy who ever lived was filmed by him last year. How to Summer was great. I love his style, the way he zooms and stuff. It's a mate of mine named Reese, and he's killing it. And I also filmed like the most recent one with Meg, which was... who was my girlfriend, by the way. I have a girlfriend. Surprise! I guess I haven't really talked about that. And yeah, we filmed things that shouldn't sound a date. So I can afford like once a month to pay him, but I want to do a sketch like that once a week, and I really think it's possible because I have heaps of ideas. I just can't afford to get a camera person. Like the nature of my content is just that lots of my videos, you know, other YouTubers will just film themselves sitting there talking. I do like doing videos like that, but my favorite videos by far are the ones where I'm just out in public doing weird shit, filming sketches. It's like quick, it's fast paced, like those how-to ones, or just I love doing stuff like that. So yeah, the nature of my content is I pretty much have to have someone to film me. I can't just selfie film it all. It's sad as shit. And I've been just begging friends and family for years to be like, can you please film my videos for free? And now it's finally the time where I think I have, hopefully I think I have an audience that there's some people who are willing to support what I do, which is cool because I've been doing this. I've been putting out online content now for free for 4 years, and I think that's what I wanted to do. I never wanted to charge for it, but the reality of the situation is I'm not charging for it. It's if you want to pledge, then great. If you don't, then that's totally fine. If you can't afford it, then of course. But yeah, if it's something, if you have liked my content for a while, I'd love if you thought about supporting me on Patreon. So it's just for like a few dollars a month. It's nothing crazy. And you get heaps of cool rewards. Oh, let's go through some of the rewards now. I'll give you guys a taste of what you can expect. I'm super excited about it. How do I go through it? Okay, so the different types of people. So if you sign up to my Patreon, right? The first level is basic bitch. If you want to become a basic bitch, right? That's $3 a month, and you get early access to videos. You get early access to this podcast because I'm gonna start recording this podcast on Thursdays and then releasing it on the Monday. So you'll get it. You'll get it like 3 or 4 days before, and you'll hear it before no one else. And also, I'm gonna do a fortnightly Patreon-only podcast with my girlfriend Meg. She's hilarious. If you didn't watch the most recent video, Things You Shouldn't Say on a Date, would highly recommend it. She's also doing videos now, which is cool, so look up Meg Archibald. She's killing it. And yeah, so we've already recorded the first one. I'm going to put in a trailer right now of the Patreon-only podcast so you guys can hear of what to expect from that. Man, it was brutal. We talked about some real juicy shit. It was some incriminating stuff that, look, I don't particularly want out there, but hey, it's the Patreon-only one, so you guys get the good stuff. This is a trailer of the first Patreon-only podcast. It got fucking real. I'm with my girlfriend, Meg.
Hi.
Come to yourself, Jeff!
No.
I ended up at your sister's bachelorette party.
And then what happened at the end of the night?
You say it. You say it. You say it.
Okay.
You say it.
Alright.
You do it. No, you do it. Okay, I'll do it.
Okay.
No, you do it.
Okay.
Okay.
So we went to KFC.
That was it.
Well, what happened after the KFC?
Nothing.
Luke?
Let's end the podcast now.
No,
Alright, guys. Thanks very much.
Wait, hold
You've
on
been
a
great.
second.
Make sure you tell your friends about the Patreon-only podcast with Luke and Meg. And I guess that's all we have time for. I think the battery's gonna run out. She didn't know how to kiss, by the way. Have you ever kissed someone?
No, I was a little nervous. Oh, I can slam you right now.
Go.
Oh,
Do it.
there was another first time that I can remember that didn't go too well.
Hey, man. Hey. I fuck like a champ. Alright, so if that's something you think you'd want to hear every fortnight, it'll be a half an hour new podcast that only Patreon people will hear every fortnight with Luke and Meg. It's going to be the Luke and Meg podcast, and it's going to be popping. And this is my favourite one of all. This is my favourite perk. From now on, the only way to contact the podcast is to knock me up. Alright? That's the only way. And you're probably thinking, Luke, I don't want to have unprotected sex with you. Or some of you might be like, Luke, that sounds great. Where do I sign? No, you got to knock me up. And I don't want you to fuck me. That's not what I mean. Look, you know, that'd be... Nah, it wouldn't be great. I don't want you to fuck me. I still want you to knock me up, though. I want you to contact me through what will be the only channel. The only way to contact the podcast is my dad's old Nokia. Alright, it's a 2007 Nokia. I don't even know how to turn it on, actually. Hang on. How do I... I suck with old technology. It's like the opposite. You know when like old people get a new Mac, they go like they go to their kids, like mum will be like, Luke, how do I make a new folder on my Mac? I'm trying to put my photos from our cruise on. Luke. And I'm like, yep, you just click file and then new folder. She's like, you're going to have to come in here. Luke, come in here. Can you hear me? I'm like, yes, I can hear you. Just file it. She goes, you're going to have to come in here and explain it to me. I'm like, no, you come in here. It's a laptop. You can bring it with you. But it's on charge. That's fine. Unplug it, mum. But if I unplug it, will it... And it... Fuck. You know what I mean? That's what happens with my parents. But then if you give me a piece of technology from 2007, I don't even know how to turn this shit on. I'm currently holding my dad's old phone. And I don't... Like, I'm gonna... Mom, how the fuck do you turn on a Nokia from 2007? My mum would be the only person in the phone. What about if I just hold a button? Oh, it did it. It vibrated. Hang on. We have movement. Oh, it's turning on. Ooh. There we go. That's the sound I'm looking for. So, the reason why I'm doing this podcast thing is not to make money at all. The reason is I get way too many emails they're just shit and from you guys or whatever. It's not all of you. It's just like I just get emails constantly and I never like sort through them properly. It's always a pain in the ass. They come through at random times and I thought, hey, let's simplify it. I'm sick of being overwhelmed with emails, alright? If you want to contact the podcast, and I'd love it if you would, right? Knock me up, baby. Hit me up on the Nokia. The only way to get this the only way to get this phone number to this phone is to sign up to my Patreon. It's only $3 a month. It's the minimum thing. It's not like I want $10 out of you. Just $3 a month to knock me up. All right, you get another Patreon only podcast, and you get to text me anytime. And every podcast, I'm going to be reading out your texts. And granted, it might take me a little longer because I'll have to scroll down. This is one of those phones, by the way, that you have to, like, if you want to type a C, you have to press the number 2 3 times. To be like A, B, C, and then the C pops up. And if you want to type the number Z, you have to press the number 9. Go beep, 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 just to get my number. So this is, look, I'm probably not going to text you back, I'll be honest. It's a one-way phone because I bought a $2 SIM card, which I'm just going to put in it to receive text. But this is your one channel to get involved with the podcast. So knock me up. Knock me up, legends. All right? Jesus, that sounds odd. But yeah, if you want to have the ability to knock me up, I'd love it if you decided to support me on Patreon. As a podcast listener, you get great value because you get an extra podcast every fortnight and the ability to knock that boy up. So yeah. And other awards, like there's heaps of other ones. Like then the next one is like level 2 legend, which is where you get access to a Patreon only group chat, which I'll be in every day, and we can talk about shit. We can talk about our hopes and dreams together. And level 3 is Captain Basic. You get a free signed poster and whatever. You guys get it. You can check it out. I just wanted to tell you a little bit about it. I don't want to sell you guys on it, but yeah, if it's something you really want to do, then yeah, I'd love it if you supported what I do. It helps support my videos and of course the podcast, because I've been running all my content at a loss for 4 years now in the hope that I make it up on my tour at the end of the year. That's how I work. But I thought, you know what, if I want to take my content to the next level, I want to be able to hire a camera person, hire an editor. It's starting to slow me down and hold me back like creatively at the moment, and I think I can bring it back. And also one of the goals is to bring back Trending Trash. I want to do that again, that series. It's by far my most requested series, and yeah, let's do it. So that's enough about Patreon. If you want it, the links will be on my Instagram. It'll be, just Google it, or sorry, don't Google it. DuckDuckGo it. We don't Google things anymore. If you miss the last podcast, the update podcast, this is really important information if you're new as well. Google's a thing of the past. Sorry to tell you, if you Googled this podcast to find it, I kind of feel like this podcast is tainted now. The only search engine we use is DuckDuckGo. It's the official search engine of the podcast. It's the only way I want to get information online. DuckDuckGo that shit. Google, I give it 6 months now, honestly, because DuckDuckGo is the future. I accidentally stumbled across it when I was telling people to do it. Oh, I'm getting a phone call. I will pick it up later. See, that's how professional I'm being. I'm not picking up my phone. I'm supposed to put my phone on airplane mode during it. How do I... The person's still calling me. Stop calling. Like, it's so obvious I'm not picking it up. You know when people do that? Like, they're calling you and they're like, oh, I'll wait till it goes to answering machine. Dude. Whatever. So, throw on my phone. That's what I do. Airplane mode, that shit. Duck, duck, go, that boy is what I was saying. Anyone who uses Google is such a sucker. Such a sucker. I'm going to bow to society's norms and Google that shit. Yeah? Do you want a superior search engine experience? DuckDuckGo that shit. Yes, granted, I now realize they copied their name off Duck Duck Goose, the popular children's game, but yeah, it's the only way I find information online. So if you want to find my Patreon, DuckDuckGo Luke Kidgell Patreon, it'll come up because it's a superior search engine. And yeah, it's the official search engine of the podcast. And if you're not DuckDuckGo on it, then fucking DuckDuckGo away. Yeah, the Patreon started. What else? I feel like this is very housekeeping, this first podcast, but look, it's got to be done. And yeah, that's all I really have to say, I think. The Tambourine Tour is kicking off, and I want to read out a few. I will read out the last ever emails on the podcast, just so we're back to zero. And then next week, the only way to knock me up is... So yeah, the only way to contact the podcast is to knock me up. I'll open the knock you out, and I'll read your texts. But I'll read the last few emails of the podcast just to kind of wrap things up. Because, you know, I feel bad. People have emailed me throughout the summer. Oh, man. So, this first one is from Kumadi. Oh, look, I don't know how to pronounce your name. If your name's not John Smith, I'm probably going to have trouble with it. But if any John Smiths want to hit me up, you will have that shit pronounced correctly. Kumadi. Hey, Luke, I got a question. Great. I was wondering if, like, before your stand-up performances, you experienced stage fright or at least a bit of nervousness or anxiety. Like, what if my performance is not up to the mark? Man, my performance is always up to the mark. Or what if the audience doesn't have a lot of laughs, kind of nervousness? Because I've watched your stand-up videos and it doesn't really seem you do, which is really cool. Yeah, because I fucking crush it. Nah, I did it first. Like, I don't really anymore because I just love doing it and I do it all the time. I'll probably do like 3 or 4 gigs a week around Melbourne just to stay in the zone, man. It's what I do as a job. I think people think like, oh, Luke Kidgell is my favorite YouTuber. I don't really consider myself a YouTuber, if not a YouTube. I'm a comedian, man. I do comedy 4 times a week. I love doing stand-up. It's my favorite thing to do, which is why when people come out to my tours, it's the coolest shit in the world. On the weekend, I realized how much I love doing stand-up again. Like, I was in front of people who had paid to see me in Geelong and Bendigo, and I was just like, shit, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. If I could, that would be my life, just touring every single weekend. I would love to do that, and then doing online content during the week. That's my ideal situation. But that's something I'm building to. I want to make my tour longer and bigger every single year. And thanks to the people who come out to the shows, I'm working towards that. This tour currently has double the amount of dates on it than last year. Because we in here and we're killing it. So anyways, I really like your podcast videos. So your question was, do you experience nervousness or anxiety? Sometimes before a big performance, if it's like something different but not really, man. Nah, I go out there and maybe sometimes before you're trying new stuff, you're not nervous about the performance. You're just like, oh man, this could totally eat shit. But what's the worst that's going to happen? People don't laugh. That's it. And if you can handle that, then great. I've bombed so many times before. Everyone's bombed. I've seen videos of Jerry Seinfeld eating shit. I've seen all the best comedians in Australia sucking a fat dick on stage, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just the process of trying new material. Man, by the end, you work out how to bomb and kill at the same time. If you're really good, and I've only just started to work out how to do it, you can be tanking with your material, but if you're acknowledging it and you're still present in the room, people love it. You just acknowledge that it was a shit joke, and you can crush harder than the actual material would have gone. You can... I bomb like a champ. But you guys won't see that at the shows because the show's done. But yeah, when I'm working on material, it can be miserable. But I don't get nervous before it because I'm just like, hey, I'm gonna go up there and give it my best. But yeah, definitely at the start I did. It probably took about 20 gigs to not be nervous anymore. Thanks for the question, man. This next one is a question. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna start a segment on this podcast called Eat a Stanky Chode, which is where I tell guests, I tell people who email me in, or maybe it's like a podcast, like for example, an example of a Eat a Stanky Chode would be a thing that happened to me recently. Actually, I'm gonna get my phone again now for this. This is an example of what this segment will be each week. It'll be like Eat a Stanky Chode, right? Which is, hang on. I'll find it. I posted the screenshot on my Instagram. So, I put out a video, I'm a celebrity, get me out of here. And this guy commented saying, Luke, if you don't like it, I'm a celeb, then, and in capitals, don't bloody watch it then, you knob. Don't make some stupid video about you just having a bitch and a moan and waste innocent people's time who are looking for something decent. I love it, by the way. I love these comments because I love that what I've made has made you care that much. Even if it's positive or negative. I love that I've made this guy's day so bad that he's like, fuck it, I need to write a comment, right? I love that he's watched my video and has just gone, let him fucking have it. And this is from a guy called Mal, and he kept going, and you expect everyone to go, oh look, he's bitching and moaning, and he's selling tickets so we can watch him bitch and moan some more. People like you, mate, are exactly what is wrong with this country, you parasite. So I commented back, Mal, see you at the show, man. Make sure you sit at the front so you can suck my dick. That is what this segment will be, ladies and gentlemen. It's a new segment on the podcast. We're going to call it Eat a Stanky Chode because a regular dick isn't good enough for these guys. And you might be thinking, oh, Luke, that's a bit homophobic. Why is it eat a dick? Alright, we'll call it Eat a Stanky Clit if you want it to. Just you know what, let's call it Eat a Stanky Genitalia. And you have to eat whatever you're not into. So Mel might be gay, that's fine. He might like dick. He then has to eat a stanky vag. But if he's heterosexual, he can eat a stanky. It's whatever you don't prefer, okay? For me, if I was Mel, I'd have to eat a stanky vag, right? But eat a stanky dick. I'm not gay. But anyway, so this is called Eat a Stanky. I don't know which way. Anyway, I'm gonna read out I got a rude as fuck email, and this is why I wanted to do this segment because man, I was gonna tell this dude to eat a dick, and I was like, no, that's too good for this guy. It's from a guy called Josh. Hey Luke, can I have a free ticket to your Adelaide show? That will be cool. Thanks, Josh. Hey Josh, eat a stanky chode, dude. Eat a stumpy dick, because that's all you deserve. That's all you deserve. That's so rude to ask me for a free ticket to my show. What do, man? You might be a plumber? Hey Josh, come clean my shit for free. What do? Oh, you probably want to get paid for your job, yeah? I mean, maybe Josh doesn't have a job, which is why he's asking for a free ticket. That would also not surprise me. But man, when you get a job one day, Josh, when you grow up and enter the real world, you will probably hit a point in your life where if you have a special skill that you work really hard on day and night, at one point you'll be like, hey, once a year, I want to get paid for this. And that's what I'm like. Once a year, I'm like, I want to get paid for doing comedy. And that's what my tour is. Okay? And that's how I live off for the rest of the year. And he has the fucking ball sack on him to ask for a free ticket. Hey, Josh, you know what? Eat a stumpy cock. Don't even eat it, by the way. I don't want you to, get it down quickly. I want you to, nibble on it, when you're a kid and you take forever and your parents are like, finish your veggies. And he's probably just going to be like, I don't want to eat this stumpy dick. And then I'll be the mum going you're not leaving the dinner table, Josh, until you finish the stumpy dick. And he's going to have to finish that. He's going to have to chop up that cock, dude. And that's all he deserves for that comment. So yeah, man. No, you're not having a free ticket to my show. LukeKidgell.com. That's the only way to get a ticket to my show. Be like everyone else. You know what else? It's disrespectful not only to me, but to everyone else who's already bought a ticket to my shows. That he thinks he's entitled. Like, fuck, I hate people, man. Some people are so, like, bullshit. Oh, I deserve this for no reason. Oh, yeah? You know what you do deserve for no reason? A little ain't chubby wiener. Not a hot dog. A urethra. A hot dog with a bloody urethra running up it, man. Alright, the next question. This is the second last one. It's from Sylvester. He said, I don't want to be anonymous. I just want you to come up with a name for me. Dude, if your parents called you Sylvester, they've already made it. Like, I like that he's like, oh, I want you to come up with a ridiculous name for me. Your name is Sylvester. Your parents already did that. So, alright, here's my name. It's a crazy name, right? Imagine, guys, imagine if you called your kid Sylvester, right? That's going to be your fake name. Alright, so, Sylvester said, and that's his fake name, new podcast, new you, new advices. Now that you're back, once again, what is the meaning of life? I don't know. And then he said, you're mildly amusing. Keep up the adequate work. And this is a classic, another case. And I want to stamp this behavior out from the very first podcast, guys. I want to stamp it out quick. Stop being so insecure, guys. Every guy who messages me with a compliment doesn't know how to give it a compliment. They think like, oh, he's going to think I'm going to want to suck his dick if I say I like his comedy. No. You are mildly amusing. Keep up the adequate work. You clearly, like, I don't want to be arrogant, but you clearly like me enough to listen to this podcast, which is great. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate that. But you like me enough to send me an email, and then you're trying to be like, I don't like you that much. Yeah, you do, man. You love me. You listen, like, you really enjoy my content, which is great. But don't be like, you're mildly amusing. You probably lose your shit at some of the stuff that I say regularly. And then guys who are so insecure, they're like, like, I used to be like that. I used to be like, like, if my friend did something cool, I'd be like, oh, nice theatre production. Nah, I fucking hated it. Nah, just kidding, it was good. Because I was like, oh, I can't give a guy a compliment. Just say, I liked your fucking whatever. Can we stamp out this insecure behavior? If you like my shit and you want to tell me, awesome. Just say, hey man, I really love your stuff. I'll be like, great, thanks. I don't think, that doesn't mean you're putting your dick in my mouth. What? It's so, like, it's just guys, by the way. Girls can be like, hey, great, I love your stuff. And it's, guys are like, oh, hey, you're shit, man, you're not funny. Nah, just kidding, love your shit, bro, I'll be at your show. I get messages like that all the time. Like, oh, me and my friends, we fucking hate you. Nah, jokes, we'll be at your show. Just say you like me. What's your problem? What deep-seated insecurities do you have where you're like, can't... It's like if you're doing that to me, it means you must be doing that to other people in your life as well. Anyway, Sylvester, thanks very much for emailing in. You have a shit name and you're insecure. Alright. Nah, man, I really appreciate it. And yeah, what is the meaning of life? The meaning of life is to just, like, be a bit more in touch with your masculinity. So yeah, that's the end of the podcast, guys. Oh no, it's not. I have one more serious thing. I didn't want to end it on a serious note, but I think it's really important. Now that we're back at it, the new podcast will be every Monday, by the way, and thanks for sticking around and listening to the whole thing. Now that we're back at it, not only do I want to be bringing the lols every week on this podcast, and I'll have a lot more stories for you next week and the weeks to come. Today was more just like we're back and we're doing it again. We in here. I want to do a little bit of good. I've got this platform. A lot of people listen to this podcast, and I thought, hey, I've used it in the past to do good things. And like for the Fat Bird podcast, we raised over $300 for this for a girl's brain cancer surgery. That was really cool. And I haven't done anything like that for a while. And an email came through the other day, which I was very like, I was like, oh shit, this is horrible what's happened. So it's from a guy named Daniel. He said, hey Luke, I'm a massive fan and I've got a very big proposition that I don't expect you to promote, yet alone even read. So I'm 15, nearly 16-year-old guy from Diamond City. which is where I live. It's the industrial hub of Melbourne. It's the biggest city in Victoria and Australia. And I recently lost my 20-year-old brother to tall leukemia on Boxing Day last year. I was inspired by his death to do some good, and I'm going to do a 42-kilometre solo walk from Hurstbridge Station, which is the train line that I'm on, to Flinders Street Station. Now, if you live overseas, or you don't live in Melbourne, that's 42 kilometres is a marathon. That's a long walk, because I think his brother must have called the train every day. I'm going to be stopping at every station along the way. This is linked to my Facebook page, and he said, this is where you come in. I'm such a big fan, and I went to your show last year and loved it. I was just wondering if there was any chance that you could promote the Facebook page or link either through your podcast when you start it back up or social media. I know that this is a mammoth thing to ask, and I totally get if you don't know how to do it. Thanks a lot, and don't stress if you don't want to get involved. Really appreciate it, Daniel. As someone who has been, I think everyone has been affected by cancer at some point in their life. Yeah, I was like, that's horrible. He lost his 20-year-old. I couldn't even think what happened if I lost my brother to cancer or something like that. His brother was only 20 years old, and what Daniel's doing is incredible. I've checked his link, and he's already raised $15,000, which I thought was pretty incredible. And at the time he hadn't. At the time I messaged him back. This was about a month ago, and I said, "Hey man, really sorry to hear about your brother, obviously." And we had a bit of a back and forth, and I said, "I'll be honest. Me sharing a link to my social media doesn't work. I've done it in the past for my mates' things and stuff like that. No one, unfortunately, it's the world we live in. No one cares. It's like no one can connect with the story or whatever, and it's just not going to be effective." So, but I said, but I really want to get involved, and I really want to help you in any way, because it's just, I don't know, I want to get involved. So I was like, I think a way that I could get involved would help you if I did part of the walk with you, or if I offered to walk the whole thing. I was like, I would love to do the walk with you. I don't want to make it a funny thing. I don't want to make it like the time when we walk to work. I'm not going to make it about me. It's just a thing where if I'll walk with you, and then I'll just post about it on social media. Like I did this today, 42 kilometers. I'd love it if you guys could donate. I'm like, that is something that people can connect with, because it shows that I care, and therefore I was like, to him, my audience might care. And we've come up with a thing where I think he wanted to do it solo, but he also really wants to get me involved still, which is great, and I appreciate him because I'd love to be involved. I'm going to walk about a third of the way with him. So I'm going to be walking next Saturday from Hurstbridge Station, I think, to Eltham or Diamond Creek, or maybe past Diamond Creek to Eltham or something like that, which is about, I don't know, like 12k or something. And yeah, I'm gonna do that with him. So I'll chuck the links also to it's called Julian's. It's called Walk for Julian. And his brother Daniel has raised now over $15,600, and his goal is $17,000. So I thought I would love to walk with him next week and give it a little bit of promo, and hopefully we can help him reach his goal. So yeah, if you've ever been affected by leukemia or anything, and yeah, chuck a few bucks in, and that's something I'll be doing this week. I didn't want to make a huge deal about it because it's not to do with me, but I also thought I have this platform, and if you guys want to do something good, if you've got a bit of money behind you, got a full-time job, then yeah, I always try and chug a cup. Obviously, I'll be donating money to it as well, and I'll also be walking with Daniel next week on Saturday. So yeah, I just wanted to say that. I'll link the Walk for Julian page in the podcast group and on the Memoirs of a White Guy Instagram. And yeah, let's get behind Daniel. He's doing a great thing for the Leukemia Foundation, and I thought, let's end this first podcast by doing a little bit of good in the world, because it was such a horrible thing, and especially he lost his brother right after Christmas last year on Boxing Day, so that was horrible. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for listening. I hope to have you back on board. We're going to be doing this podcast every single Monday. The Patreon is up and going. The first goal is to hire a camera person. The second goal is to get the official Rogan mic for the podcast. That's when we hit a certain amount a month. And yeah, let's do it. Patreon only podcast will be up like right now. As soon as you sign up to the podcast, as soon as you sign up to the Patreon, you'll get the link to the podcast. Yeah, thank you very much for listening, guys. I'll see you guys next week, because we in here, we doing it. DuckDuckGo that shit. DuckDuckGo, the Patreon. DuckDuckGo, the Walk for Julian, the awesome charity thing that Daniel's doing. DuckDuckGo, the Memoirs of a White Guy Instagram page. And that's about it. I'll see you guys next week. Memoirs of a White Guy is back. Woo! Thanks for listening.